Hey friends! Welcome to the Drug Prevention Power Hour, where we empower leaders in youth drug prevention. After creating a student-led movement hosting epic drug-free events across the nation, your host, Jake White, dedicated himself to making the prevention field more fun, impactful, and relevant for today's youth. So if you're in education, counseling, public health, prevention, or just a caring adult looking for strategies to protect your kids, we hope you subscribe and learn from every show. Coming to you from Jake White and his team at Vive 18, enjoy this episode of the Drug Prevention Power Hour.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Drug Prevention Power Hour. I'm your host, Jake White with Vive 18, and today we're hanging out with a past guest. I was on the show, Joe Tracey, and he's always doing incredible work in the prevention field. And Joe, these are my favorite because you're literally doing prevention work every single day. Your coalition is growing. Your ambition for the field's super exciting. So thanks for saying yes to another episode.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's good to catch up, and same back to you. I really admire everything you got going on with Vive 18, and just looking forward to having a good chat here.
Yeah. Well, I know. So you and I get to see each other at Arizona Things. I even had you out for our national conference doing some sessions. That was really awesome. We have our camp, but I don't get to see all this stuff that y'all are doing like every single day. So yeah, kind of catch me up on the highlights from, I don't know, maybe the last year or so and what you're excited about.
Yeah, the past year has been crazy, actually. A lot of what we do is we work in schools. So that's one of the things that we've been blessed with is when we're trying to reach kids, we're good at that. Mm-hmm. So it's always trying to figure out how are we going to do this, but also like make it interesting and not just the same thing every year. And so we our Youth for Youth program. So I guess to give you a little backstory on that, but basically we go into schools and we put together groups of kids that want to make a difference. And that's really at the core what it is kids that just want to make an impact. But along the way, they learn leadership skills like public speaking, project management, teamwork, the list goes on, setting goals. And this year I was really trying to step things up with the kids. So we added 3 new schools this year, which was good. And I got to do leadership conferences, which we haven't really been able to do for the kids the past, basically since COVID. And okay. So we kind of got back to that. So this past year, one of the districts I work with, they have 8 schools, and I brought 4 schools at a time together. So we had about 80 to 100 kids with each session, and we did our big kickoff for the year. So it was the beginning of the school year. We brought the energy. It was great. But this is where the kids, they learn, for one, that they're part of something bigger, that it's not just them going around their school talking about the different issues here, but they get to really, they just get that experience that you don't get going into a classroom. And so we had all the kids together, and when they start that out, we go over some leadership things, we give some backstory on stuff, but midway through the day, we send them off on their own, and they work in their school groups, and they work on identifying problems amongst the student population. Okay, things that they can control. So they have to identify the problems that they see. Really, the only guidelines that I give them, it's got to be something we can control. Okay, mm-hmm. So if you want to have, just ice cream in the vending machines all the time, I can't control that. You can't control that. So we can't do that. Teachers' behavior, we can't control the teacher's behavior. However, we can influence it. But most of the time they come up with things like vaping, bullying, mental health. Social media has been a big thing that we've seen recently, because even the kids are kind of like, hey, this is a problem, which is really good. But at the end of the day, they get to come up in front of all their peers, and they get to present the issues that they talked about, but then also what are some solutions we're going to do. Now, all of a sudden, you get a kid that's never talked to a group of people before, and now they have 100 people in front of them, and they get the chance to express themselves. So we did that twice. The kids went back to the school year and worked on their projects. So we spend all year, they design posters. So they sketch it out, and then we take their concept and turn it into an actual digital professional poster. And that poster has their theme for the year. So. Okay. That may be, so one of the ones that we had this year was be cool, not a fool. That was their theme. And everything that they did a presentation to their peers, and everything went back to that thing. Hey, being cool is, standing up when somebody's being picked on. Being a fool is this aspect. But they have to figure out a way to spread their message to the entire school. So we print up 40, 50 posters for each group. They go to every classroom and put up a poster. And they also do a 10-minute peer-to-peer presentation.
Okay.
And
so,
yeah, go ahead.
Joe, for you, so you had schools from your different areas, and your area is pretty big now. You're in the Phoenix area, but it spans a lot of miles, and you've got plenty of groups. I don't know how many groups you have now, but you're
13.
bringing them all 13. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm curious for that. Like, are you, as far as the mentorship program would go, as far as like you being able to help as many people as possible, you have school counselors or somebody in the school that's leading and you're coaching them? Or are you going into all the schools with you and your team?
So we do have like school counselors that are kind of part of the group, because I need somebody at the school that's going to organize everybody, coordinate with teachers if we're doing presentations, stuff like that. But it's after that first conferencing that we do, every other week I go to the school and I meet with each team. And I go in there and, okay, today we're going to talk about goal setting. We'll kind of go over a little bit on goal setting, and then, all right, start setting some goals. And we do a planning activity right then and there. We may, as the year progresses, they come up with their presentations. So I'm there with them. They're practicing. I'm giving them suggestions. Hey, next time, why don't you pause after this? So I'm trying to give them advice, but really it's a student-led program. I'm just there to kind of guide them and give them the confidence that they can do it.
Yeah, and I think it's helpful to have a coach. You're like their coach too locally.
Yep.
I think that's a good way to put it too. Whenever we train advisors, it's like, hey, you're not a player in the prevention game. You're the coach. The students are doing everything. They're coming up with plays and ideas and implementing it, but they just need some coaching and guidance and someone to think of safety and logistics and stuff like that. So it sounds like that's your model. And for everyone listening, Joe, you're on episode 30.
I was wondering what episode that was.
Yeah. I don't know what this one is like going to be, 130, 40, 50 something, but it's wild to think how much time has passed since
that is kind of crazy.
Did this. But okay, so I'm really curious about your experience on this, because I get this question a lot, Joe. I'm in one school. How do I get more schools to say yes to this?
I wish there was a solid answer that I could be, hey, this is what you do and it works. Really, it's about building relationships and finding that person at the school that's or the district that's going to be a champion with it. So we've been fortunate enough to, we have one of our districts. Every school in that district has a team, and we're hopefully next year. We did a few pilot schools this year with another district, but I'm hoping this coming school year we have another district-wide youth for youth teams. So it gets really fun when you do that, because then, so like for the one district this year, I did an end of year celebration for them. And I was like, well, they don't want to listen to me talk. I mean, I can talk, don't get me wrong, but I want to make it fun for them, because the kids have been working all year. I mean, to sit there in front of, if you're a sixth grader and you're going in front of an eighth grade class to say, hey, we can be better towards each other, and,
that's brave.
Calling their peers out saying, hey, we do this, this, and this. I mean, it needs to be celebrated. So this year, this is the first time I've done this. Actually, last year I did it I actually had Z come out, and he did some sessions for me last year, but I was like, we got to top that this year. So when you have the district involved, now all of a sudden, now it's a movement. So like the entire district, so those two schools that I had 4 and 4 at the beginning of the year, I brought it all together. So we had 125 was the final head count, but they were all leaders that had all gone through the same process. They've learned the skills. They, made the posters, did the presentations. So I was like, we're going to make this special. So I was actually able to partner with our police department, our fire department, the National Guard, the city, another nonprofit that supplied a bunch of like food and stuff like that for us. A local pizza place donated 35 pizzas. But my goal was to give them an experience. So we had the fire department brought out all their mannequins, and they got to do CPR, just like the fire cadets, they're training. They got to sit there and do that. The police department, they set up a mock crime scene for the kids, and they got to dust for fingerprints. So when you have like the district buy-in, it creates some really amazing experiences. And I was so nervous going into it because I'd never done anything like that before. But some of the counselors are like, our kids are still talking about this. And in the middle of that, we threw in an underage drinking presentation as one of the stations that I went to. So we're able to tie prevention into it, but also give these kids experiences like that they'll never get anywhere else. So
Yeah. Wow.
so yeah, getting into the school, it's just being persistent and finding that person that's going to be your champion. And one of the things with schools too is you get a lot of, when new administration comes in, you got to start that process all over again sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that just it's all about the relationship and just being persistent. And a lot of the schools that we were in, I mean, it took 3 years to get into, like 3 or 4 years to get into some of these. So I mean, that's how much work goes into it. So just don't give up and just keep going. Offer to do things for the school. Go and volunteer at one of their events or help them out with something, because now all of a sudden they're going to reciprocate that back to you.
That's so true. I love that you said that, because oftentimes we're only thinking about what we need and we're like, how can I get into the school? And they're like, I don't know you. I don't like we've got 1,000 as a school. Think about it. They've got 1,000 things to take care of. You're one piece of it, right? And we're a big piece, but they might not know that, or they might not be aware about prevention and how important it is. So we got to go to them. We got to show up where they live and the things that they care about. I also want to highlight, Joe, I think it's so cool that you did that celebration event for them, because part of our model with clubs should be, number one, celebrating them, but two, I like what you said it. You said they're not going to have another opportunity like this. How cool is it that because they were a part of this life-saving initiative, it's like they said no to something else to go be a part of Youth for Youth. And because they did that, they get to have this incredible experience that not everybody gets to get, like hanging out and doing training with firefighters and having a crime scene set up, with law enforcement and things like that. Those are things they're going to remember. And also, I mean, nothing spreads good work like doing good work. So the schools that aren't involved in it are like, dang, this is so cool. They're getting real skills and opportunities. And the students are thinking that too. And the fruit is there. Like, it's growing, and it's because you're doing all the right things. That's like super inspiring to hear, Joe.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So now I got to figure out a way to top next year.
You will. So. Okay, that's cool. So what is something that you're dreaming of right now? What's on the future kind of bucket list for what you see this turning into?
Really one of the things is I want to be able to expand the program to other campuses. But also with doing that is I want to make sure that it's done in a way that the kids are getting the same exact experience all the way across. So it's trying to figure out that consistency throughout the year, but also figuring out a way that I can bring somebody else into that to help me with that, because I can only go to so many schools. But really, I would like this coming year, I would like to go from 13 to 17 is my goal. So just expanding it little by little, and then 10 years from now, hopefully we have 100 schools.
Yeah,
that have the team set up, and pretty much it starts to run itself. That was the initial vision when my dad started this many years ago, was to have this kind of be a self-sustaining program, which it is but when you get into the education landscape, there's so many different things that go into that, as far as the politic aspect and funding. And so in a perfect world, it would be self-sustaining, but I love getting in front of kids and just having a good time. It makes me feel young.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great. That's interesting, because our model, it's very much being the support system. Is we're not where you are every single day. And so we've been building out, I need to get you in this, Joe. We've been building out resources for student clubs in like a dashboard, an online course dashboard.
Okay.
And it's starting with the advisors, because the advisors right now, like yourself, are the consistent part. Students turn over, school staff turns over, administration turns over. So the key stakeholder right now is you in your position. So starting there, number one, it's like, how do we build the SOP or the infrastructure, the training, and the maybe it's the activities or the modules that the students go through. That's like the backbone. But then I think the challenge too is like, how do we build in enough structure and consistency so that they have things to do without stealing their opportunity for creativity and doing the things that they want, right? And it sounds like you're really good at that in person right now.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things with them is when we're planning out what we're doing for the year, I think probably one of the things I've repeated the most throughout the year was, this is your project. You guys need to figure out how this is going to happen. And I think giving kids the opportunity, I think that's one of the big things is a lot of times we don't think that they can do it because we don't give them the opportunity to. And it's like all year, and even throughout the year, like I'm going through here going, oh, I don't know if they're ready to do this. Like, I don't think this is going to work. And then every time they pull through, they buckle down and they make it happen. But I think that's key is giving them the ability to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like us too. I mean, I think as adults, we do this. We need a deadline. We need a project. We're going to have challenges, but we need at least somebody there who believes in us and holds us accountable. And I think that as an adult guide to a student-led club, that's half the job. Hey, you guys made this incredible plan. You're going to crush it. It's going to be amazing no matter what. It's going to change lives. Here's what you said you were going to do. Let's make it happen. I'm curious on the life cycle of those student projects since you're so close to them. Is there a moment or like a moment of challenge, and then when it turns into, hey, we can solve it and we're doing this no matter what? Like, have you seen some moments of that flip? I don't even know how I'm trying to ask, but I'm curious about those and how students overcome that in those moments.
So I think one of the big things with that is for one, giving them the opportunity to take ownership of it. As we were just talking a minute ago, my high school group this year, I really thought that we were going to have to cancel our event because we do. So rather than doing a classroom presentation, they did sessions in their performing arts center. So they would have 300 kids at a time come throughout the day. They did 4 sessions. Last year, we featured a keynote speaker that we brought in to kind of complement them. So the kids would come up and they would have, I don't know, 2 minutes worth of something that they were saying in front of the group. And then we'd transition to another one. But the main portion was actually somebody else. This year, they said, hey, we don't want anybody else to do this. We're going to do it. And I was like, all right, that's great. About 4 weeks before we got there, like I was really like, this is not going to work. And I said, hey guys, this is what we need to accomplish. You guys need to make it happen. Go ahead. And they did it. I mean, they ran 4 sessions flawlessly, but it was just, I don't even know how I'm trying to say this here, but just let them go. Like they will figure it out. You just let them go.
Yeah.
And
don't save them. Don't try to get in their way or say you got to do it a certain way or get perfectionism in your head. It's like they will save their project. They will do it. And it's right because you let them. You just said basically, hey, y'all, you got 4 weeks. You got to get it into gear. And they did.
Yeah, no, and it works out, but I think that's the biggest thing. And one of the things that we do also as we're going through this is when we talk about goal setting, one of the things I tell kids is you're going to fail at some of your goals. Okay, there is things that are going to happen that are not going to work. Does that mean that you completely get rid of it? No, figure out an adjustment. So one of the things that we practice is it's called SPFSP, and that's successful people find solutions to problems. And anybody that's successful in life, and when I say successful, that term is going to be defined by each individual. Generally, they're successful because they found a solution to a problem. You know, whoever invented a bridge, something as simple as a bridge, that was a solution to a problem. I needed to cross from this side to that side, and they figured out a way. Did the first one work? Probably. No, probably not. But don't worry, you're not going to fall off a bridge, so you can make mistakes as we're going through this here. But just it's showing them that things aren't always going to work, and there's ways that they can pivot to make it happen. And yeah, it's because there's many things that I've tried to do that have not worked out. But
yeah, me too.
It taught me something, you know,
right.
and I learned from it and, you know, adjusted it the next time, or, you know, even going into something, I've made the adjustment like right on the fly there, just made the adjustment. And, you know, it just comes down to just giving the kids the confidence that they can do hard things. And once they do that, I mean, their life becomes so much better.
Yeah. Well, and I think sometimes whether it's a student or adult, we just need to hear someone say, I believe in you, keep showing up. Because the fact is, yes, we're going to fail no matter what at the beginning. I feel like I had this kid in my hometown who said, Jake, why did you get to be successful? It seems like you started doing something and it was really good. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm starting a quote business in college, but I'm broke. I'm not making any money. Here I was 10 years later with a business that hadn't really gone that far, but had a couple wins over a decade. Anybody can get a couple wins over a decade. Mm-hmm. But then they just see that the end of the road when you became successful, they only saw the tail end, you know? But the thing is, like, you being able to, like, you're a great speaker. On the fly, something could happen and you could pivot. It's because you've put in 100 reps, you know, or 1,000.
Yeah. And when we were the high school group, I remember when we were first talking about the different things that they were going to say. And I was like, here, just do it like this. And I just went right into it. And one of the kids looked at me and he's like, how did you do that? And I said, well, I practice. Like, this is years of, you know, going to Toastmasters, of recording myself in a video or listening to how this was what the hard work looks like at the end. And going back to what you were saying about, you know, that kid from your hometown, you know, all they saw was this up here. Generally that growth, you know, it doesn't go nice and easy this way. It's going to go like this. And and that's when everything clicks and you've put in that work ahead of time. You know, one of the podcasts I listened to, he was talking about how he stayed consistent doing it 3 times a week, never missed an episode. And after 5 years, like, he had a few followers, but it wasn't until the next year and a half that all of a sudden he had, like, I don't know, 4 million or something like that. So but he said, you know, they didn't see all that stuff before that. All they saw is that end result. And it's, especially with social media now. I mean, it's tough. I mean, I couldn't imagine being a kid right now. I mean, you see all these amazing things that are happening, but they don't see everything that happened before that, you know?
Yeah. The decade-long overnight success. It's like,
yeah,
absolutely. Well, Joe, I want to ask you, because I know, just for like a canvas, can we do a lightning round with you where you just kind of share what are some of the coolest things you've seen your student leaders do projects wise? As you know, they all do something throughout the year. And I love that model, is they get to pick what are some of the things that they've done over the past year that you're really proud of, or maybe a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, just this past year here. So going into it, classroom presentations has been our thing. And that's kind of because we're trying to turn it more into a conversation, but we said, hey, let's do some student-led assemblies. And this was with middle school students. And I had 12 middle schools. All of them wanted to do assemblies. And midway through the year, every single one of them but one of them pivoted to classroom presentations. So to see the one school put in the work, put in the practice to actually do a peer-led assembly, like literally I came up there at the end and thanked them, but I didn't open it up. They opened it up. They did everything with it. So seeing the first group actually be able to do their peer-led assemblies, that was it.
Wow, that's huge. Okay, how did they have an assembly speaker before? Like, did they all see an assembly speaker before they chose their project?
No, I mean they've had assemblies, you know, at the school before, but as far as like anything like this, no. It was
So that's interesting that they all chose that, though. That's so funny.
Yeah, well, because a lot of them have been in the program for a few years now. So, because we start them in 6th grade, and they'll continue all the way up through 8th grade. So you get your 8th graders that have done the same thing for the past 2 years, and they're like, hey, we want to do it better.
Yeah.
So that's how that kind of happened, is, hey, we already did classroom presentations. But yeah, so that would be.
Okay. That's cool. That's cool. Well, this has been great, Joe. I love catching up with you.
Yeah,
you're doing awesome work here. And I get to be so close, but it's one of those distances where it's like 40 minutes. We never actually hang out.
Yeah,
but
it's
we see each other and stuff.
Yeah, we're way out here. So that's how we got the Way Out West Coalition now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you for being on another episode, man. Well, listen, for everybody listening, go back to episode 30. Check out Joe's first episode too. I know we dive into some of the nitty gritty And if you know somebody who's trying to do youth-led prevention, share this episode with them, as they'd be extremely inspired by the Youth for Youth model, everything Joe's doing here out in Phoenix, Arizona area. And yeah, it's incredible. And for everyone listening, please keep up the good work. Remember, we can't change the world if we're not in the game still. So we've got to compound our efforts. We got to go through these challenges. And I know sometimes it can feel like it's lonely, like no one gets it, but we absolutely get it. Reach out to us, reach out to Joe, the people in your state that are doing this work, because we're definitely better together. And y'all, we'll see you next Monday for another episode of the Drug Prevention Power Hour.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Drug Prevention Power Hour podcast. If you love the show, make sure to leave a review and share what you've learned. And if you need help reducing substance use among youth by educating and engaging students in prevention, visit vive18.com for more information, tools, and resources.